Hi, I'm Kay Douglas, and I'm author and illustrator of Yours for the Dreaming. It's a children's book that's an adventure into being creative, exploring art, exploring words. And I'm really fortunate because the book for me is the realization of a dream. And that dream was only possible through being given my creative license. I was given my creative license by my teacher in high school, who allowed me to use what was in my head, what the world hadn't seen already, as the basis for what I created. What fun. I was given license and the freedom to create. The book came about in an interesting fashion. I had a son who was about 7 at the time, who, when I went in for his teacher's interview, the teacher told me that, he was a bright guy and really smart and well behaved, but he had an issue with staying within the lines. And I thought, yippee! This is what I had taught him to do, to color outside the lines and to explore and to create and to use the materials that were available to him however he chose to use them. And to her chagrin, she asked me to tell her more about that. So I described the process of being creative and how to open your mind to do that and to be able to use different materials. And I actually went into the classroom and taught his classmates, David and the class, how to do that, how to color outside the lines. The book was inspired from that. It was inspired from the fact that what's inside our mind and what's inside our mind's eye is just as important as what's out in the world already. In fact, on some level, it's more important because it's something that hasn't been seen before, and how we share that with people is really important. In describing that and putting the book together, we were playful with abstractions and realized that really quickly people would relate to an abstract painting differently depending on the time of day it was, depending on how they were feeling about life. And the same was true with how they painted or created. If they were feeling really positive and good, the chances are they were going to be using yellows and orange and red colors. And if they were feeling blue, then maybe they'd be using blue or black. And if they were angry, they might be using red. So that was okay, and to be given the freedom to express however they chose to. We did a lot of play on typography in the book as well. So the word deep really looks deep, and the word fun looks like it's fun, and the word cream looks like you could eat it. And that was fun too, when we found it became a really important tool for literacy and remembering what words are and having a better understanding of them. When I looked back at doing the book, it took a long time to do, but it started with a teacher giving me my creative license. It started by having an idea that I took from start to finish. In my case, took 18 years. In your case, I hope it doesn't take that long. And what we did is we recorded the process. 6 steps. 6 steps on how you could take an idea from start to finish, to think it through, to think critically, and to be able to use all the elements that were available to you to put that big picture together. The big picture comes together after going through some steps. The process involves 6 steps. And in Yours for the Dreaming, what we realized was those 6 steps were key in taking someone from their idea to completion of their idea. And what was really interesting about it is it can be used for anything, which really showed us that creativity is the mother of innovation, and putting together a world or a culture or a place where that's safe to do that is really key. How do we get started on a 6-step process to creativity? Well, first of all, we don't judge the outcome. We don't say that this is what's going to be done in the end. What we do is we develop that big picture as we go along. And the first piece of that is how we see the world. What's our perception of the world? So step 1 is perception. Perception explores the options of how we're looking at things. How do you look at a picture? How would you crop a picture? How would you look at a task that was given to you and break it down and take it forward? So whether that's an assignment that's given to you in school, whether that's a task to put together a presentation to your class, or whether it's just about coming up with a new idea. So in the case of a student, it may be doing a presentation. In the case of a senior citizen, it may be how they're going to approach their retirement. In the case of somebody in a workplace, it may be creating diversification in the workplace, or innovating a new product. Perception, how we view things. Let's explore different ways of doing it. How are we looking at this piece? Is it looking different every time we look at it? What are the factors associated with it? What do the colors mean to us? And in our perception, we determine what our goal setting is. So perception ties into our view of the world and what we're going to set out to do. What's really key in the 6-step process is that all of that is recorded. A journal is kept with you all the time, because we don't just get creative ideas when we're sitting at a desk. Sometimes we get them when we're riding in a bus. Sometimes we get them when we're in the shower. Now I'm going to suggest you keep your journal out of the shower and maybe keep it on the counter, because that way you'll be able to read it afterwards. But the journal itself, keep all your creative thoughts. Sometimes that's a word, sometimes it's a thought, sometimes if you kept it next to your bed, you could record it when you get up in the morning. But once you've got your perception of what your task at hand is, you start your journal with that. Step 1, my perception. So if the perception is, I'm going to create something that lets the world be more creative, then that's what you put down. And what are the key things that are associated with that? What is key to being creative? Is it freedom? Is it color? Is it form? What does that mean to you? Next step is to create an idea. Your idea of how you would approach that. Would you approach that in presenting a video? Would it be in maybe doing an art piece? Would it be in writing a letter, doing something on the internet? What is your idea about how you're going to take your task at hand and present it to the world? Because if we're presenting something to the world, it has to be real. It has to be something tangible that they could understand as well. So determining at the idea stage what that will be and recording that. Next would be the recording of it in general. Putting down your ideas doesn't mean just putting what's in your head. It's doing a little bit of background research. Now you've got your idea. Your idea is something, a challenge, a presentation, something you want to take forward. So the idea is put into a format that's within your journal so that you understand it and could actually communicate it to someone else. Step 3 is recording of it. How do you record an idea? How do you take an idea and record it and get some research or background or information to fuel that idea or fuel your innovation? Well, some of the things you do is to chart it out. Maybe draw it out in concept. Maybe go to the library and take some time researching. If you're doing some ideas about posters or creativity, or say it's in the creative realm, maybe go to the library and look up books on other artists who have done the same challenge, or other maybe mathematicians or someone else who's approached the same principle or idea in different ways. Look what they've had to say. Look on the internet. Check out the internet. Put the word in there. But in your journal, record it all. Record what you think's important, what might come together with it, different things that might be similar to it, and keep that in your journal as a reference for yourself. Charting, recording, following through. It becomes your living document, your journal, of your adventure from the start of your idea to the finish of your idea. Next, we're going to go on to a better understanding of it. So you've got your idea, your concept is coming together, you're recording down how you're going to approach that, and next, to have a better understanding of it, you're going to review your information that you put together. What's really key is getting other people's input, having an understanding of what's important and what might be important to them. Feedback, constructive criticism. So sit down with a group of people. Sit down with your peers if you're in a classroom, maybe some other fellow classmates who are working on a similar project, and put down what you've recorded, your perception, how you're going to approach your idea, and some of the research you've gathered, and get their input on it. Because someone else's perception can help mold how you approach your creativity. Brainstorm, come up with ideas, ask them how they feel about what you put together, and get the information and record that again. So now you've got all this information down, your idea of what you're going to take forward, how you're going to approach your next step, which is transformation. One of the ideas we use to put the transformation from an idea straight through is to record it in pictures and to do it like a timeline where you're putting the pictures together and it becomes a storyboard of how you're going to try it. So some of the ideas you have before you've even started drawing anything out, you're going to take some of the ideas you had about the research you gathered, put some colors down, put some shapes down. If maybe one of your ideas was to do photography, take those pictures down and look at them and come out on the side and say, okay, if this is the one I'm using, what's key there? And how did other people feel about that? And are there other artists who've done things? And I'm going to try different things with it. Sounds like a lot of words, sounds like a lot of steps, doesn't seem like it's really going to work. Well, it does. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to introduce you to some of the tools we've used and invite you into a workshop where we're putting it to use, those 6 steps. We don't scream them out loud, but that's how we get things done here. So come on in and enjoy our workshop on gaining your own creative license. Hope you enjoyed the workshop with us. I know we had a lot of fun, and it's only as limited to your imagination, and that's the trick. Remember a time when a banana could be a microphone, a blanket could have been a fort that you were conquering dragons with. Well, that's the part that you draw on when you use your creative license. Keep it with you and keep it as a reminder every day that whatever challenge or opportunity you're facing, you can take steps to present something to whoever you're working with, or whether it's a personal goal or objective. You can make it different, and you can be innovative with it and present the world with something they haven't seen before. Enjoy.